Today I want to talk to you about the number one most important thing if you want to lose weight. So no, we're not going to talk about diet. We're not going to talk about exercise. We're not going to talk about age. Well, we might talk about age. But what we're going to talk about today is motivation. So how do you get motivated to lose weight? I mean, I've been there many times where, I want to start a diet. I'm going to start a diet. I start a diet for a week. I start a diet for a month, and I just can't stick with it. What is the difference? This time, I've actually lost 43 pounds. I'm 65 years old, and I have been dieting now for just a little over 7 months. And what made the difference this time? I mean, I'm on my way to 50 pounds, and I don't remember ever losing this much weight, ever. So what made the difference this time? And I thought about diet. Yes, I did find a diet program that worked for me, but I still have to say no to sugar. I still have to say no to flour and fattening things. I have to make substitutions. There's times I'd rather have rice than riced cauliflower. So what is the difference? I need to know what the difference is. Well, the difference is I was ready and I put a lot of things in place. So today I'm going to talk to you about a few things that will help you get that motivation to start your diet and stick with it. So first of all, I had gotten to a point last year where I just did not like the way I looked. I was very unhappy with the way I looked. Here's a before picture right here. And looking at me right now, you can tell a big difference. At least I could tell a huge difference. And my face was more puffy. My arms were more puffy. My clothes were really tight. I was very uncomfortable in my skin. So I had been thinking for quite a while, actually since like 6 months to a year before that, when I had my knee surgery, I had been thinking, I really want to get in shape. I really want to lose this weight. I don't want to be carrying this extra weight around. I don't like how I look. And so I started thinking of ways that I could get on a diet, stay on a diet, and lose weight. And the very first thing I did was that I set more of a lifestyle plan than a diet. Now, I do call my dieting because I'm losing weight and I'm focusing on trying to lose weight. But I'm also trying to find recipes and changes I can make every day that I can continue doing later after I have all my weight off. And so I looked at this more this time, not like a short-term diet to lose this much weight. It was more a long-term lifestyle change that I wanted to put in place. And I started thinking about that months before I went on the diet. And I researched, I actually tried the Mediterranean diet before I tried the particular diet I'm on. I tried keto in the past, and this Trim Healthy Mama just seems to work for me. I like the food that's on it. I substitute a lot of things, but I try to stick within that fats one meal, carbs one meal, and that really works for me. I like it a lot. So that's what the very first thing I started doing was looking at a lifestyle change, not a diet plan. The next thing that I did was I set small goals. I didn't start off saying, oh my gosh, I want to lose 60 pounds. Instead, it was like, I'm going to try to lose 10 pounds by the end of summer. I want to try to have a 5-pound goal by Thanksgiving. I want to lose 30 pounds by Christmas. It was things like that. So every single month I was resetting my goals. And those small little goals made a huge difference. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, I have to lose 60 pounds, that's so much weight, I just don't think I can do it. It was, you know what, I can lose 10 pounds. I can lose 5 pounds. I mean, some of you who have watched me through this process can probably remember when I had my 5-pound challenge. And I think it was between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I hit it just because it was such an attainable, easy goal to focus on. So small goals, small steps make for big results. The next thing I thought a lot about before I started dieting was be realistic. I mean, I'm not 18 anymore. I'm 65 years old. I'll be 66 this year. And I needed to be realistic. I know I'm not going to get down to 105 pounds again. That just isn't going to happen. So what's a realistic weight that I can weigh and be comfortable in my clothes, comfortable in a bathing suit, comfortable, feeling better, less weight on my knees. So I'm not going to share that number with you, but I did come up with a target number that was much more realistic than what I had thought like throughout my life. And I think sometimes we watch TV or we watch ads of these ridiculously skinny models and we think that that's the way everybody looks. Well, walk through Walmart. It is not the way everybody looks. People look much different. They come in all different shapes and sizes, and it's just not realistic. Now, some people are just very fortunate. They're able to, get to a really nice, healthy weight and stay there all their life. But most people that I know have had challenges keeping weight off through the years at one time or another. Maybe it's even just after you've had a baby, trying to get the baby weight off. I mean, honestly, I think that's when mine started. So let's see, that's how many years ago? The next thing I really wanted to do, and this particular diet on Trim Healthy Mama supports it, is I started looking at protein differently. Now, I don't want to do keto. There's nothing wrong with it, and I have lost a little bit of weight on keto in the past, but I didn't want it just so much protein. I do have protein at almost every meal, but I have much smaller amounts. And I focus more on the portion control, on no sugar or very little sugar, and really hardly any flour. I try to really limit those things and follow the weight loss plan. But I found that having protein at every meal has made a big difference. I mean, your body is always going to be burning protein. I have tried low-fat diets and different kind of diets that don't incorporate a lot more protein. And I think the problem is that sometimes your body starts going in that reserve mode where it feels like you have to, it has to stop losing weight and reserve what you have because, you're not getting enough food. And that's not a good thing. When you eat protein, your body's going to be burning protein and turning it into other things all the time. So you don't have to eat a ton of it, but you need to really think about how much protein you want to eat every day because it is important in weight loss. Another important thing that I did, because I do like to go out with my friends to restaurants, once a month, different friends I go out, maintain friendships, stay in touch. It just seems like lunch or dinner is the thing that we do. And I really started looking for options that tasted good, that looked good, that were great alternatives instead of the things that I had been eating. And that worked out really good for me. I really wanted to make sure that I wasn't, not being able to go out and socialize, but really just changing some of the mindset of how I was eating. And then I think the most important thing in helping with motivation is to not say no to everything, indulge occasionally. It doesn't mean that you have to not experience the things other people are experiencing. Maybe it's more moderation. I had a good example of that this last weekend. It was my grandson's fourth birthday party. I love Mexican food, and everything there was Mexican food. It was just really yummy fried taquitos, which I love. There was birthday cake, ice cream, key lime pie. I mean, everything that was good. They even did a piñata with lots of delicious candy. And so I made up my mind before I went to the party. I ate very small for breakfast. I tried to really think about how can I make this work and not have a weight gain. I wasn't concerned about a weight loss, just don't have a weight gain. So I decided ahead of time I was just going to limit the portion I had. I was going to eat what they had, have a limited portion. Now I did pass on the beans just because there was a lot of chorizo in it. So I passed on the beans, but I did have a small, very small portion of macaroni salad. I had 3 of the fried taquitos. I had that with some guacamole sauce and some lettuce. I had a very small piece of birthday cake with, it was an ice cream cake. I actually made it. If you're interested, I'm going to link it above. It was a good save, but it started off as a real disaster. I made a Toy Story cake for my grandson. But anyway, the cake was actually really good. It was like a vanilla cake. I made the ice cream out of ice cream sandwiches and then frosting and fondant. It was good. And so I had a little piece of that. And I actually had a Reese's, one of the little cups from the piñata. So I did splurge a little. I got on the scale the next day and I didn't gain an ounce. I was so happy because I think the moderation and not overeating the rest of the day made the difference. So you need to indulge sometimes. I mean, Easter's coming up. We always have like a brunch at my house and then we go somewhere else for a big party. There's a ton of food when we go. I'm already thinking, what can I bring that's healthy? What can I serve that's healthy and still be able to indulge in some of those extra goodies? So I'm going to make it work. I've determined I am going to get these additional 7 pounds off. I am hoping by the end of April. That's my goal. And then my last 10 pounds, my goal was June 30th of this year. So I've got a couple months ahead of me to do this. And I just have to stay really laser focused. So I hope some of those motivational things help you. I do think motivation and attitude is the most important thing in being successful on a diet. I think it's the most important thing to starting a diet and then, of course, staying the course. So I hope that helps you. I hope that you are inspired in some way to either start or stay on your diet or just enjoy life if you're, just maintaining your weight. Good for you. There's just so many great things out there that are available to us that weren't available, as far as videos and things we can read and different diet programs we didn't have 50 years ago. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please consider subscribing. Give me a like, a thumbs up, or ring the bell for future notifications. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.